Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl Live, back at it with another video. So, God, I just wanna let you guys know, because I haven't been active, right? And I just wanted to let you guys know why. And this video is a very hard and like emotional video. So my grandma passed away, right? And I just want to kind of like let you know, fill you guys in on why I haven't been posting like I should. And I know I've never really posted well, but it's just like this part is like more the reason why. So here's the story. My grandma had early onset Alzheimer's. She was an amazing grandma, basically a mother to me and my older brothers. She made sure you were okay, then she would worry about herself. And she was just an amazing woman. She was so strong. She was so thoughtful. She was just incredible. Like, there's like millions of words that I can describe her as. So my grandma got diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's about when she was like 61, no, 63 actually. So we started noticing. She got diagnosed at 60, my bad, yeah. But they diagnosed her at 63 or 62. So we started noticing that she had Alzheimer's, or she started getting sick, because she would ask the same question over and over. She would forget where like little things would go. We would be cooking or something and she would forget something to do. Or like, she would like accuse us and people of stealing her jewelry or stealing her curtains or stealing her luggage. Like one time she said we stole her luggage and we bought a new one similar to the other one and she said it wasn't it. So like, there was a lot of things, you know. She was like a mom to me and my brothers. She like raised us. She made us who we are today, to my character of what I am. Like, she created us. So she would always take care of us. We would come home, food was ready, she already had our plates served. Every single morning she made sure that we were dressed, showered. She would wake us up, she would do our hair, to walk us to school, especially me. There was just a lot of things, you know, how such an amazing person she was. So my grandma, she started forgetting things. So we would take her to the doctor, and like about 2 times in a row they were like, no, she's too young to have anything, like she's fine, she's just getting old. So we were just like, okay. That was like, it was 2 times that they told us that. Then we started noticing that the symptoms and her actions started being more often. And finally we took her to the doctors again, and we were like, no, you have to take a test, like something's wrong with our mom. And they ran some tests. They said she had early onset Alzheimer's at 63, but they said she might have had it 2 or 3 years earlier, back when we started noticing things. So at first, my brothers, like my family, we never thought it was such a big thing. We thought it was like something small like that, like how my brother said, like that she's just getting old and that every old person gets this. Like every old person would forget somebody's name and then it would come back to them, or they would forget something and then they would remember, or they would forget little things and then they knew where they were, you know. So we never thought it was such a big thing until we started learning from it. So since we started hearing Alzheimer's, we started like, okay, like this is gonna be all right, like every old person gets this, like they're gonna forget, but it's gonna be okay, like we're gonna be good. And as we started noticing, we started learning from it. And my grandma, she has always lived with us. She was always living with us. Like there was no other place where she would live except for my mom and us. We were always around her. We were always with her. We were always going to parks, to everything. Like there was nothing that we wouldn't be doing with her. Once she started saying like once she didn't remember us, it really hurt to see her like with somebody that she's always lived with, or with someone that she's always talked to, forget us. Like she wouldn't remember me and my brother's names. Like it was like, Grandma, it's me, Lisha. She'd be like, who are you? Like, I don't know you. And it would hurt us, especially because we never thought it would be something this big, you know. So we started learning from it, and we started doing research, especially my mom. I would do research too every time that I could, every time that I was wondering like what's going on right now. We made sure we always did our little research. And my grandma, so since she started getting sick, there was many times she would forget us, or there would be downhills and then she'll go to being stable again, and then she'll go downhill. And it sucked to see my grandma suffer so much like that, especially because she didn't deserve that, and she was such a strong woman like that, and you know how it sucks. Okay, so me and my grandma, we were always together. We would sleep with each other. She would always take me to school. We would go on walks. We would go to the little corner store to get her favorite bread and come home and do her little coffee, you know. Every single morning my grandma loved to have her favorite bread and her coffee. It was just like a normal thing. So as my grandma as her dementia started progressing, a lot of things changed. A lot. So there was a lot of times where we would want to go somewhere, but we had to make sure someone was with my grandma. sometimes one of us would have to stay home while other people would go on a family dinner. Like, we always took turns, and it was the way that we helped each other. And it was just a lot of things, because when she started getting really bad, she wouldn't eat as well. And it sucked seeing my grandma not being able to eat, like her choking on her food and coughing over and over and over, and like us stressing out that my grandma's not eating well, and it's just like affecting us how we're not able to do anything about it. We can't help her eat. We can't help her remember how to chew. We can't help her remember how to swallow, how to actually eat good. The only thing that we could do was give her the food and help her not choke on it. Like, not, even if she was choking on it, we would try to do whatever we could to try to help her either spit it out or swallow it. Like, it was just a lot of things. And so there was like many times where she would be in her middle stages and she would just run out the house, or she would try to hurt herself or yell at us, and then she'll like cry every single day, and it would frustrate us, but there was nothing we could do. So as my grandma started progressing, we were learning from it as well, right? And seeing her suffer the way she did really sucked. My grandma was so strong, everything. Like, it was amazing how when she was really sick, how people would talk about her. Like, one of my uncles, like how he came to Colorado, or like he had no hunger, he had a place to stay, he had no money, but he still had care from my grandma. And so my grandma, she would have her downhills. One day she would be really good. The next day she would be really bad, sleeping all day, not wanting to eat, just really drowsy. And sometimes she wouldn't even take her medicine because we weren't able to wake her up without her choking on the medicine, because we crushed it up and gave it in yogurt, but like there was nothing we could do. So I don't remember a lot of things because I was little, but now since like I'm a little older, it sucks how I can't remember every single memory that we had. Yeah, there's special things, but like I never experienced as much as my mom did or my brothers, because they're older and I'm the youngest, so I don't know a lot. Like, I don't remember a lot of things, and it really sucks because that's my grandma, you know. So my grandma would always walk me to school, and then she would pick me up, we would walk back home, and she would serve me my plate, and she would always do things on her own. She never wanted help, she never asked for help. It was always her being her. And she would clean the kitchen by herself, or she would make sure everybody has ate before she would. When we would have a party, she would cook everything before we could even do anything. She made sure she had everything, and she took care of everyone and made sure everyone was good instead of her. Not instead, but like caring for herself too, like putting herself first That never happened. My grandma was never greedy. She was never rude. She was always so caring, loving, helpful. Thousands of words to describe her, and a lot of people may not even know that she's gone, or a lot of people may not even. So one morning, I'm asleep in my room, right? And me and my grandma traded rooms because we have 2 floors, and she used to be on the basement, but she moved to my old room, and I slept in her room downstairs. So we traded rooms because she couldn't go up and down the stairs anymore. It would be too dangerous for her anyways. So we started trading rooms, and one morning I was asleep, right? And all of a sudden I hear screaming, and I was so shocked. Like, it was crazy that morning, because the night before, because this was on a Saturday, but the night before, on Friday, we came home from school and we gave her to eat. We would last 2 to 3 hours trying to feed her just so we can make sure she was good, and then we would eat. Like, we would put her first, and I don't regret that at all. And I remember I wouldn't even go out with my friends sometimes because I would stay home and take care of her. I'm not blaming her for it. It's just not her fault. I don't even regret doing that. I actually enjoyed those moments with my grandma. And now that I can remember that I did that, it gives me a lot of joy because I know that I did well. So since my grandma got diagnosed, me and my mom were always the top people to be there for her. Like, my mom would be washing dishes in the morning, and I would come out with my grandma already changed, like fully diaper and everything. It was the way we helped each other out. And my grandma, she was a true fighter. She was so strong. Like, it was amazing how someone so small can still be so strong. Since she started getting sick and wasn't able to eat, she started losing a lot of weight, and she started getting so thin and small, and she was so fragile. If you would barely even press her hand, she would get bruises. She was so tiny, but it was so amazing how a strong woman is sick, but she's still stronger than ever, and it amazes me. It inspires me to be strong like that, you know? So my grandma, on the Friday night, we came home from school and from work, and there was this lady from hospice who would come and shower her, and she had just left. So my grandma was chilling on the couch. She was nice, just sitting there. Like, she couldn't see, so she wasn't watching TV. She was just sitting there, and my brothers were upstairs. And we walk in, and she's in her pajamas. She's really chill. She's calm, and she was so live that day. She was like trying to communicate. She was holding our hand. She was yelling. Like, she was just so awake. So me and my mom, every single morning and night, we would give her meds. And there was this lady who would come and change my grandma every single weekday and get her ready. And then my brother would take care of her for the rest of the day until we got home. So she was good that day. And that night we gave her medicine. As always, we gave her sleeping pill. We gave her everything, okay? And we said, "Good night, Grandma. We love you. And see you tomorrow morning." So I remember waking up to screaming. I remember that I was in my room and I hear my mom yelling, "Lisha, Steven, wake up, my mom, my mom." She kept yelling, "My mom." So as soon as I heard that, I ran upstairs. And I see my mom. She's like pacing around the house. And she's on the phone. She's crying, yelling, and trying to call hospice. And I walk into my grandma's room, right? And I see her purple. My grandma was struggling so much to breathe. Her fever was so high. She wasn't moving. So I instantly start panicking, and I grabbed like a book or a magazine and I switched her oxygen to her mouth since she was mouth breathing, and I turned on the fan and I started like blowing air on her so she can try to get some air so she can breathe. Then my brother runs in and he sees me like struggling, trying to like help her, and how I'm panicking, and he tries to help too. There was so much commitment. Every single day we had something to fight for, and that day we fought a lot because my grandma struggled a lot, and we were trying to help her, but we couldn't because we didn't know what to do. So we were calling hospice and calling and calling and calling. And then finally we gave her something to calm down her fever. And then a nurse came. She looked at my grandma and she said, "I give your mom 24 hours to live. She's actively dying." So that day there was a lot of family coming in, and my grandma, the strong woman she was, and like this was on a Saturday and she passed away on a Tuesday. That's 4 days. My grandma lasted 3 extra days to prove us wrong and showed us how strong and how tiny she was. We couldn't even call 911 on that Saturday morning because since she's in hospice, the paramedics would come and they would try to do CPR and they would break her ribs. She was so fragile, she was so tiny, and we couldn't do that to her. It would be more suffering. So we called hospice. Everything calmed down. And those 3 days, extra days, she had a lot of fever. She didn't eat for 4 days and she still pulled through those 3 days. I remember on that Tuesday, my grandma, she was in bed. We couldn't get her up anymore. There was nothing we could do. And it sucked. So we were just trying to wet her mouth with the sponge so she can at least have her mouth nice and moist, so she wouldn't be so bad, you know. We still try to take care of her as much as we could. And that Tuesday, I checked up on my grandma and I saw that my cousins were in the room, so I left because I thought they wanted some time. I went to the kitchen and I was gonna eat because I hadn't ate that whole day. And as soon as I'm walking to the table, I take a bite as I'm walking, and that's when I hear my uncle call my mom. Literally 2 minutes after I just checked up on her. My grandma, as I walked in, I saw my grandma yellow. And she wasn't breathing no more. Those 3 days, she didn't eat, she didn't drink, she didn't change, she didn't even have normal temperature. She was suffering so much. Her eyes started to sink in. Those 3 days, our family, our cousins, we would try to be there for her as much as we could. We slept on the floor next to her. We would spend every single day in that room, and we would just try to be there with her. Everyone clears out and goes to around the room, so me and my brother's mom and dad can be there. As I was walking in, I hear my mom crying. And that's when I knew, because my brother said she gave a very calm last breath. Like, she was like, it was quick and peaceful. My grandma died peacefully because I walked in and she didn't look like she had any pain. She looked like she was sleeping. And I was in denial those days because I would hallucinate. And I would be like, I would see my grandma breathing. I would see my grandma move. I would hallucinate by hearing her oxygen tank in the morning for every late start that I had for school, because she was the first person that I would see every morning. First person I would check up every morning. I don't regret anything that I didn't do because of her. I would be proud of myself, and I am, and I'm sure she is too. So once my grandma passed away, we drove her to Durango, Mexico, where her hometown is, and we buried her over there. And it was so beautiful. But knowing that that day was gonna be the last time we had our grandma in Colorado, taking her to Mexico and leaving her there really affected us, because we know she's not here with us, only spiritually, but she's not here. Now I'm gonna sing a song for her. Sin tu amor no sé lo que voy a hacer. Solo vivo extrañándote y en mis noches añorándote. La noche Tu foto y soledad son toda mi compañía y me hacen solo recordar lo triste de mi vivir. Empiezo a sentir ganas de llorar, de decirte siempre te he de amar, que sin ti más ya no puedo estar, decirte que el silencio es cruel cuando no hay una sonrisa, que es cierto, no hay amor infiel cuando se ama de verdad. Cómo me haces falta, cómo me haces falta. La noche es queda y se oye mi voz, te está llamando mi alma. Cómo me haces falta, cómo me haces falta. Decirte que el silencio es cruel cuando no hay una sonrisa, que es cierto, no hay amor infiel cuando se ama de verdad. Cómo me haces falta, cómo me haces falta. La noche es queda y se oye mi voz, te está llamando mi alma. No quiero ver que mi vida se fue y tú haciéndome falta. Decirte que el silencio es cruel cuando no hay una sonrisa, que es cierto, no hay amor infiel cuando se ama de verdad. Cómo me haces falta, cómo me haces falta. That song was Como Me Haces Falta. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys leave a like. Make sure you subscribe and share.